Hi, Noe. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Journalism 250. Wait, where is the damn? Come on. Where do I? Oh, God, how do I let these people in? Okay, how's everybody doing? Hello. Ethan's always getting a Dr. G double feature every day, or Ethan. I'll try and keep it interesting, Ethan. Um, all right, so let's see. Maybe real quick, I should go over the La Lima page for this week just to make sure you guys get it as far as what there is to work on. First of all, my apologies. My idea was to get you feedback on everything in my morning class by this morning, but it just was not fated to be. I just had too much to deal with yesterday. So I will get that to you. That's my next priority. So I will get that done. But let me just show you all where we're at. So let's see. La Lima. Basically, we're wrapping up a couple of things as a segue to doing new things. So we're wrapping up characteristics of the news and, just a basic bottom line conversation about, like, what would you call it? Square one conversation about what is news and, what makes news. And wrapping up kind of all of our grammar stuff. And at the same time, that's a segue into our next, like, really, I would say, probably the most important, biggest challenge of the semester, which is to work on leads. Because my feeling is that if you've got your skills down for how to write a basic news lead, then then basically everything you need to know about how to write news and how to structure stories, you've got. So that's why I spend with this class, I spend a huge amount of time just working on writing news leads, because everything that you need to know about structuring a news story and about writing news is embedded in the lead, that first sentence itself. So again, what I'm saying is we're wrapping up grammar, we're wrapping up kind of basic knowledge of the news to kind of as a jumping off point to get into probably like our big challenge of the semester, which is really nailing how to write a good news lead, right? So week 3, that means basically what I'm asking you to do is do the grammar exam. And it's hard to see this in this view, so let me go to student view. I think my internet is slow for a minute. Okay, so this is what you got to do this week. Do the grammar exam. I did a characteristics of the news assignment, and this is like straight up where we're getting into textbook stuff. Like I give you now, this is just like this textbook thing, but I've been obsessed with this little textbook exercise for years. I don't know how many years I've been obsessed with it. And you guys can tell me, like, maybe I'm like off on a thing. And when we're done with it, you all can tell me, like, Dr. G, stop teaching that to your Journalism 250 students because it sucks, or whatever you think about it, right? But my theory is this, and this is what maybe you guys can tell me turns out to be right or not, that this no longer appears in the, used to be the Fred Fendler, now it's the whatever David Bender or whatever Bender textbook. There are these 12 exercises on writing leads. and they no longer appear. They got rid of them in one version years ago or not. But what I like about these 12 news leads is I feel like for just about all of them, maybe not every single one, but almost every single one of the 12 that are in there, there is a lesson contained in the exercise about the nature of news. And so it's like a game. Like I try and say, how do you write this lead? What's the best way of writing it? Then we all look at it together, then we talk about it. And I say to you, what do you think the textbook authors had in mind? Why do you think they created this particular one, like this lead exercise? Like, what's the lesson about news that's embedded in here about in writing this lead? Okay, so we'll see. But the first thing to do with it is, this is where checklist number 2 item comes up, is go through that exercise. And this week, we're not ready to start writing leads yet. We'll get into that next week, okay? But all you're gonna do is identify the characteristics of the news or the news drivers for that set of, like for those 12 things, okay? And not only that, but I want you guys to put them in order of what's the most important characteristic, right? So a story might be like the example I give in here, you'll see it down here, is like, for example, say the story reports that a gang of vandals has been dressing up as clowns and damaging parked cars on campus, okay? So what, if that was the story, what would be the characteristics of the news or the news drivers that apply to that story? So like, okay, let's say police saw a surveillance video, you know, like a street camera video of a group of suspects dressed up as clowns doing serious damage to cars on campus Wednesday night. Okay, so what news drivers are applicable?
Timeliness. I'm
Timeliness.
gonna want to know if my car's in danger.
That's different.
Proximity, because it's on campus.
Proximity because it's on campus. Johanna, you said timeliness, but it's not what you said right after that that makes it timely. That speaks to another news value, right? So we've got timeliness, proximity, unusualness, impact, conflict, and prominence, right? Prominence meaning famous people. So what you just said is, I would want to know if my car was wrecked. So which of those news values? It's timeliness, proximity.
No, I mean, I would want to know if the car was in danger.
What?
Is that conflict?
Well, that one's definitely there. Conflict is in there, I think. What were you saying, Joanna? You would want to know what?
Oh, I meant like, I would want to know if my car was, like, if there was a gang of clowns destroying cars, like I would want to know if it was recent and I need to be like scared for my car.
Okay, so that's the timeliness.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, but yes,
yeah.
So you're right there. But she also is suggesting another news value, right? Now, clearly there's conflict, but that's not, when she says, I would want to know if they messed with my car. Which news value is that?
Is that proximity?
No, that's because that just says it's on campus.
It's,
we're on campus. And we care because it's on campus, right?
Is it impact because it's like affecting a lot of people?
Yes, it's impact, right? Impact is, does it affect you? Okay, so we just said it's got timeliness, it's got proximity, it's got impact, and there's conflict there. We're missing a major one. Clowns dressed up, vandals dressed up as clowns destroying, cars.
Unusualness?
Yes, unusualness, okay? So now my question is, so first of all, an important thing to understand is that how often is timeliness going to be a factor in news? Sometimes, rarely. How often is timeliness going to matter in news? Doesn't really matter in news.
Always?
Always? Otherwise, it's not news, right?
Every day, right?
If it's not timely information,
Yeah.
it's not news. So timely is just a given, okay? How often is proximity going to matter? Probably often, right? Almost always. If it's happening in like Zimbabwe, you know, we're probably going to care less, right? Or be less attuned to it. For right or wrong, that's a basic law of news, right? Of how it works, right? If it happened here in Honolulu, that's more important. If it happened on King Street or University Ave, now we're talking, right? So so proximity is, but proximity, sometimes things happen in China that make news, right? So maybe not every time, but 90% of the time. But the rest of those news values, it depends on the story, right? Now, often a story like this one has more than one news value. So my question is, okay, we know timeliness is a factor. It always is. We know proximity is a factor. Okay, it mostly always is. So my question is, of the remaining news factors, how would you prioritize them? If you have to make choices about which news factors in this story are more important, which ones are more important?
Impact.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Charlie. And then I didn't hear who said impact, but we'll go to them next. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I think it depends on who the audience is, meaning like if it's students on campus, then proximity and timeliness or impact, all of those things being kind of one issue would be the most important. But I would say for anybody outside of that area, I would say unusualness is going to be the most important.
Interesting. And who said impact? Who spoke up with impact? What was that? I didn't see the little green.
I said impact.
Okay,
and
Colin, make your case.
The amount of break-ins or whatever they did would be relevant.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone want to make the case for clowns?
Well, I think it's a combination of what they said. I think the impact is number one, and it's personal impact. Is the timeliness impactful to you? Is the prominence impactful to you? Is it the conflict impactful to you?
Yeah. Clowns? No clowns? Nobody for the clowns? That's the big headline.
I'm going to say clowns. I'm pro clowns.
Okay.
I'm pro clowns.
All right. Thank you.
Personally.
All right. So it's especially evil clowns, or whatever. Only happy clowns. All right. So the point is.
No, yeah. No, happy clowns are boring as hell.
Yeah, right. Well, so fortunately, these are evil clowns. All right. So the point is that the assignment is to not only identify the news characteristics, but to prioritize them, make your case about, whether they should be impact or unusual, whatever it is, depending on the story, keeping in mind that timeliness and proximity are mostly going to be givens. So you don't have to worry about those as much for priority. You can comment on that if you think it's important, but the main thing is show me that you know how to prioritize those other news factors. Is any of that unclear about the assignment? Okay. So, and then the final thing on the checklist is.
Wait, so we're going to go through each. Sorry, real quick. Doctor, we're going to go through each lead, and we're just going to identify which news maker it qualifies as, and therefore we'll order them, we'll organize them appropriately, or
yeah, but
just to get clear on the assignment.
You got that a little bit off, right? Because it's more than one news driver a lot of the time, or every time, because you're always going to have timeliness. Most of the time you're going to have proximity. And then it's a question of how many others you have. Okay, so you look at this first one, you identify what it is. Okay. And we'll do a couple of these together. You know, we'll start on this together next week. Okay. But you do it with the second one, you do, et cetera. And the idea is not just to identify the news drivers, all the relevant news drivers, but to argue what priority they go in. Okay. Is that clear now? All right. So, and then the next thing you do is just complete the readings, and everybody seemed to prefer the forum. I don't want to add to your work, so I'm not going to say you're required to be chatty Cathy's and come in and comment on each other's work. But I will say that probably everybody would appreciate a comment or response from everybody else. So to the degree that we can make this a conversation. Can you all see each other's stuff when you go to this forum? When you post? Where's the, here it is. Because I can't really see it very well from my end. So Cameron already wrote his in. So I guess, you know, we can't all, I don't know how to set it up so we're all on one thread in forums, but just take a look at people's posts and see if you can just, you know, no obligation, but just see if you can chime in with each other, make it a little bit more of a conversation. And then we'll have a proper conversation on Thursday, right? Like we'll do today for whatever we read last week, which was, what did we read last week? The, the types of news, right? This is what we read last week. So this week's readings are, this one's kind of cool. It's just like a 1-page comic strip, 2 pages, I guess. So just read that one. Oh, don't worry about these things so much. I meant to have you look at the comic strip. Okay. And I have a specific question about the comic strip for you. And then this is like I did do like a little, like a thumbnail history of journalism. I figured, hey, it'd be nice to squeeze that in somewhere in the semester. And this seemed like as good a place as any. So, you know, it's pretty quick reading. I mean, this is the whole thing. You get the entire history of journalism right here, sort of. And then the other readings are just, you know, what we had last week, which was characteristics of the news. I just put that up for you for reference. So this you've already read. And this you can skim. I just put there so you got a familiarity with it. It's, you know, it's a skills chapter. But, you know, what I said about it is, why are these issues important enough to focus on for a whole chapter? So think about that as you read it. You know, these are stylistic issues about news writing. Okay, so anyways, let's get back to the, oh, we got a lot of questions here. Let me see what we got. Unusual is that where we go. I had mine put on Padlet this week. We're gonna have the Padlets due. The Padlets were due by class time on Thursday. So I think what I'll try and do with assignments is make them due by end of the day Friday in general. But there's an exception for that. So I don't want to confuse. Well, actually, I made everything due Thursday by class time because I didn't want to confuse anybody. Okay, I can make writing assignments due Friday, but you have to remember we're having readings that we're discussing in class. So if I make the writing assignments due Friday, now we got different deadlines for the class.
This assignment.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Ashley.
sorry. This assignment is due next Thursday, right? Because
yes,
I think. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, week 3 is all due next Thursday. Now, like I said, I'm okay with the idea of making stuff due Friday, but I didn't do that because I don't want to confuse people. So I'm hesitant about that, right? So, you know, because I want everybody to be ready by class time with the readings. So I guess, can I get a promise from everybody? I mean, does anyone, Is it important for you guys that I make it do Friday instead of Thursday? Would that be really helpful for the writing assignments?
I mean, I think Thursday before class makes sense, especially if we're going to discuss it.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, for me, the writing, at least the writing assignments, like stuff that's not going to be done in class, would definitely be better for me if it was like Friday end of day, because I have a lot of stuff due on Thursday. But that's just me.
Okay, so you guys have basically raised the two things that are dilemma there, because they are good to go over, especially certain times. On the other hand, you know, I think it would be easier for everybody to have a Friday deadline. We could still go over them the following Tuesday, right? So that in mind, whenever possible, I will make the deadlines Friday, and I'll try and make that a regular thing. Okay, for the writing assignments.
I mean, if it's like just like a response to the reading and we have to have the reading done anyway by class time, then I feel like there's no reason to separate those two things. But like if it's like an essay or an article that we have to write, that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes it might be
So what
easier.
I'm saying is that at the risk of making this complicated, the reading work and responses will be due by Thursday class time. The writing exercises for the week will be due by the end of the day, Friday, with the caveat that you guys need, I will always provide the dates on these, and you need to pay close attention to the dates, because there may be times when we'll want to use the Thursday class to go over the writing, right? Okay. All right, so anyway, so the Padlet was due today. If we already posted week 2 in a forum, do we have to go put it on Padlet? Kenzie, yes, you do. Put it on the Padlet so I know where it is, because I can't go chasing everywhere to go find people's stuff. So it's the thing we did. Where's Kenzie? I don't see her. She's somewhere here.
If I talk, will it move? Do you see me?
Oh, I see you now. So Kenzie, yeah, can you post to the Padlet now? Just take what you did. It's this Padlet thing, right? Why'd you post in the forum?
Yeah.
What forum did you?
I think I might have just gotten confused with the different weeks where I posted in the forum.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like you guys don't want to use the Padlet anyway, but just post in the week where I post the assignment, right? Like the Padlet was here, so just post here, okay? All right.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to we've got a fair amount of like this grammar stuff to go over to make sure that you guys can do the grammar exam. So let's quickly go through Katana's favorite subject, which is perching on flagpoles and everything else. I guess we'll skip Katana, you can do the drunken peaches. Let's see, Titus, you can do speaking in a stern voice, number 2. Tyler, can you do the bride? Noe, can you do working with full concentration? Okay. Justin, can you do sitting on the deck? Carly, can you do by shopping early Christmas? Ashi, can you do Jared almost saved? Victoria, can you do with a huge yawn? And Johanna, can you do paying for my groceries? The rest of you all, are you guys all working off of this, off of my screen? Or can you open your own screens?
We can open our own.
You can open your own? Okay. So let's see what else we've got here. We've got dangling modifiers. Okay, so Libby, can you do, wait, who did I not assign? Ethan, did I assign you one yet? No, I didn't. So can you do number 1 of practice 4? Katana, you've been assigned. You're Drunken Peaches. So Libby, can you do Unhappy?
Yeah.
Charlie, can you do By Spending Hours? You got it? Charlie's having
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
It's like somebody sticking their finger in my eye.
No, I know. I'm sorry. My laptop like pooped out on me today, and so I'm using my smartphone for everything. So it's a little crazy.
It's working better than your damn laptop, I'll tell you that much.
I know that. Well, my laptop just kicked the bucket like for good.
Yeah.
So
I'm
getting
not
a new laptop,
surprised.
so
Your laptop
that
was
thing-
not impressing me. All right,
that
so
thing was done, man.
so let's see. Cody, can you do Whistling Cheerfully? I'm kind of bummed that the Magic Needle today can't choose Cody to be our discussion leader because he did such an awesome job last time. Okay, we're on to one word misplaced modifier. So Kenzie, can you do We Almost Saw? You see where I'm at? Cameron, who is the if I ever need a proofreader in future life, Cameron, you get the job because you're always the first one to catch all of my multiple errors when I do these things. So thank you very much for that. We all owe Cameron a thanks for immediately going on and proofreading my La Lima page for me. So, and catching 2 significant errors. So thank you, Cameron. And can you do what were we on? 3. Do you see where I'm at, Cameron?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like I should assign you 2 because you're going to deal with the first one rather quickly, but that's all right. Davin, can you do 4? Though I Was Speeding. Ashley, can you do 5? Sandra almost sent out resumes. And Mason, can you do, I can't see you, Mason. I see a football guy, but can you do, where are we? I Nearly Wrote a Paper. Okay. Let's see how we're doing. Big yawn. I was like, are you talking about our grammar lesson?
Wait, which thing is this on again?
Misplaced
It's
modifier.
on.
Oh, you mean what we're doing?
Yeah. Sorry, just like where do I find it again? I'm just blanking.
It's grammar answers in the shared drive. You see our journalism 250 SB 21 shared drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were we starting from practice 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna have this problem again, right? I should probably set up the format for you guys so somebody doesn't have to do it. That's all right though. If you can write the sentence, we can find the sentence. So I'm gonna give you guys I don't know, two more minutes and then we'll take care of it, okay?
Wait, so do we write the actual sentence and then rewrite it?
Write the correct one first,
Okay.
and then maybe, write wrong or something, indicate somehow that it's the messed up one. Although we should be able to figure it out.
Professor G,
Yeah.
I'm begging you, can you go to like just my question? I can't find the document for the life of me right now.
The misplaced modifier document?
Yeah, just the paying for my groceries one.
Oh.
If you just let
Oh
me
my
do
God,
it.
I've read out so many of these, Johanna.
I know, I'm sorry. It was up more.
All right, let's see. There it is.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let me give it another minute because I guess if you guys aren't paying attention, you won't be learning. So let's give it another minute for people to figure this out. For those of you who are already done and bored, start taking a look at your parallel structure one. Your parallel structure PDF, because that's where we're going next.
Where?
The parallel structure PDF, Joanna. It's in, I think, in week 1. All right, is everybody pretty much ready to talk about this? Are we good? Anybody? I don't see anybody saying hold on, so I'm taking that as a yes. Okay, so let's see, Katana. Mrs. Jones, so this is your correction, right? Mrs. Jones decided that her drunken peaches after sitting in a jar of brandy for a month were ready to serve.
Yeah, that's mine. That's
Okay.
the right one.
All right, who likes it? What does the gang vote? Does the gang like? Do they not like? What how did Katana do? What's the view? Anyone have an opinion? Is it awesome? Is it perfect? Is it correct?
I think it looks good. I think it looks correct.
Yeah. Who agrees? If we get a second, I don't know what I'm gonna do there. And then I'll have to see. Gonna give.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Yeah. I think it's a little awkward, maybe. It could be okay, but what about, would it be better? Who thinks it would be better if it was Mrs. Jones decided that her drunken peaches were ready to serve after sitting in a jar of brandy for a month? Would that be better?
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually does sound a little better.
Yeah,
flows a
it
little
did.
more.
Is there any confusion about, is she serving them after sitting in a jar of brandy, or nobody gets confused like that, right? Like she's serving them after sitting in a jar of brandy for a month? Like she was in a jar of brandy for a month? I guess not, right? Okay. So after I spoke in a stern voice, the children became quiet. That one looks pretty good, right? No reason to dwell there. Not a lot of mystery. So we gave you kind of a boring one, Titus. So next time around, we'll have to give you a tough one. Okay. How about this one? Did that stump anyone? The bride walked down the aisle with her father dressed in a white satin gown and dressed in a white satin gown. The bride walked down the aisle with her father. Okay. What if we had made it the bride dressed in a white satin gown walked down the aisle with her father? What would you guys have thought? Would that be better?
I'm just always careful because you said not to put the subject and the verb too far apart.
Yeah, that's right. Now, there's a bit of judgment call with that, right, Titus, when you're writing? Like, how much of that can you get away with? You know?
I feel like the one that he did is more elegant, the one that Tyler did.
Yeah, I agree. Wait, you know what? Why don't I love giving you guys real world examples. So let me show you an example of how I was struggling with this kind of thing last night. So that you guys, because I think it's important to remember that these are not just abstract, whatever, they actually matter. So I was making a case about a study I submitted to a journal, which I think they're being kind of jerks about, but that's a whole other story. And what I wrote was this sentence. Now let me just just ignore this part of the sentence, okay? And what I wanted to say is that this film written by Ben Hecht is still really relevant and interesting. So I said, the highly successful Broadway revival in 2017, the publications in 2019 of two critically well-received Hecht biographies, one written by Dina Hoffman, the other by me, the release this past December of the Academy Award nominated film Mank on Netflix, and perhaps most interestingly, the emergence of the Me Too movement, which together with the appearance of the movie Bombshell prompt us to see His Girl Friday in a new light. All of these attest to the fact that the front page is still relevant or is still interesting to film scholars and the general public today, right? Now, if I had put that phrase at the end of this, that wouldn't have worked, right? So I had to flip it around to make sure that, because the way I originally wanted to write it was, all of these things show that, the scholars and all of these attest to the keen interest among scholars and the public of the book. But I realized that I had to start with this because of the reason Titus just mentioned, which is that if I start with all this stuff and I don't get to the subject and the verb until the end, I'm going to totally lose the reader. Right? So I start with, some recent developments suggest that the front page will continue to be of great interest to both scholars and the public for years to come. Then I give this list. If I'd done it in reverse order, I would have lost everyone. Does everybody agree with that? So it's sort of a similar thing as, like, to get back to our example of the bride, you could probably get away with dressed in a white satin gown between subject and verb there. You probably get away with it. Is it elegant? Maybe not. But if it were to get much longer than that, it would just be bad, right? So that's kind of a lot of times, how many of you guys are familiar with being in that situation with your writing, with having to figure that out, right? So good rule of thumb to think about. Okay, let's keep going. That was kind of a tangent. Did everybody follow what I was saying about that, though? Okay. Okay. After I spoke in a stern voice, speaking in a stern voice, the children soon became quiet was the original, and Titus changed it to that. That one's pretty, we already went over that one. Okay. Noe. Do you feel like you've solved this one? Where are you?
I don't know why, but I had a really hard time with this one.
Why do you think? Somebody help her by not just giving her the answer. Somebody help her by suggesting why she had a hard time with it and how she can deal with that. I can tell right away, maybe because I teach these, and so I see constantly where you guys get jammed up. But where do you think she ran into a problem? What?
Introduce a connecting subject.
Yeah, well, so why isn't it there? What do you think that her problem was? Why didn't she do that?
Because she missed it? I don't know.
Because you guys can't read these grammar exercises and think that all you have to do is fix them. sometimes you have to actually add words. Like sometimes you actually have to change things around, right? A little bit. You don't want to completely rewrite it because you want to understand what the exercise is trying to get you to do. But do you understand what I'm saying there, Joey? You didn't want to, you thought it would somehow break the rules. Okay, what was the, well, okay, how is that, how would you rewrite it in a way that's most faithful to the original with errors?
I feel like if you just took away the S from concentrations, that kind of makes it sound better. While working with full concentration, the hours passed by quickly.
Yeah, I think it was. I think the essay did, I mean, the original didn't have an S at the end of it. I think that's a typo. So, no, it's going to be, while I worked with full concentration is going to be the closest you're going to get to the original, right?
It changes the meaning, kind of.
In what sense?
Well, because it like implies that there was like a time when he was working without full concentration and the hours didn't pass
That's
by
the point. It
quickly.
was ambiguous, and we had to make it specific for the sentence to work because we don't have the context.
Yeah, I don't know that we've really changed the meaning, Charlie, in terms of what you're saying, because that meaning may have been there in the incorrect one. It's just that it's written.
No, but like like in the incorrect one, all he's doing is just describing like what happened, and he just wants to like give you a picture of what it was like because he was working with full concentration. Whereas like in the corrected version, it makes it sound like for a period he was working with full concentration, and that was when the hours passed by quickly, but exclusively then, and not so when he was not working with full concentration. Like while I was working full concentration, the hours passed by quickly, you know. Like
Yeah.
while makes it sound like it was part of the time. So so that's why I think the way you should say it is I was working with full concentration and the hours passed by quickly.
Okay. Fair enough. And that's going to happen when you introduce words and have to change things around to correct them, right? But some of these, the point is to take home, Noe, is that some of these are going to involve you putting in words that aren't there in the original. And you have to realize, oh, that's what I need to do. Okay. And I'll be showing you guys an important example of that that's on the exam, I think. I think it's on this version of the exam in a little while. Okay, either today or next time I think we'll wrap this up. We can't wrap this all up today. We'll wrap it up next Tuesday, okay? All right. Let's just, why doesn't everybody look over this and call out if you see either a mistake or one that you find interesting. Let's just do that so we save time. Okay?
I can't figure out mine. It's number 5. I'm highlighting it.
Okay. Okay, so the original is what? Sandra almost sent out to 20 resumes?
No, it's the top one is the original.
Okay, so this is the mistaken one?
Yes.
Okay.
Out almost, or it'd be sent out almost 20 resumes. Oh no.
What are the instructions, first of all?
I sent out resumes to almost 20 different companies.
That doesn't make sense though.
Why
It's saying it was near 20 companies. The almost
isn't the meaning that she's saying is she almost sent out resumes though?
But that's what
But
the whole
she
chapter was
didn't?
about, is that it's not implied that she almost, because it's, if you say that, it means that she didn't send out 20 resumes, or she didn't send out resumes at all. You put it almost to 20, so it could be 19 or 18 or 21.
But that would mean that she sent them out.
Yeah, it's saying she almost sent them out to.
Look, go back to the directions. Okay, so it says place the listed modifier in the sentence to make each sentence match its intended meaning. in order for that to be the case, the way that it's written is not its intended meaning. So if we meant you almost sent them out, but you didn't, then you wouldn't change the sentence. But that's obviously not the intended meaning because the instructions tell us it's not.
So grammatically, it's correct. It's just the meaning is not.
Yes. We
So
know
how are
we know that the intended meaning is not that, it's something else. Do you see what I'm saying? So the meaning is not that she almost sent it out, but she didn't. The meaning is something else. So what else could it be?
So you can interpret this any way you want then, right?
Yeah, the fact is that if you change the word order, Ashley, you're going to change the meaning. Like if you change it to you sent out resumes, you sent out almost 20 resumes to different companies, that means something different to you sent out resumes to almost 20 different companies.
So is what I put, could that be considered correct then? With the bottom line, sorry.
Isn't that the same thing? It's you almost sent out and almost sent out.
But Sandra almost sent out 20 resumes to different companies versus sent out resumes to 20 different companies.
Well, it sounds like she didn't send them out.
So almost
So
has to
almost
be
is the
it has to be
problem.
an of 20.
Yes. Almost is the modifier, and its placement. This is the misplaced modifiers chapter. Its placement is the problem.
Would that work?
What did you just do?
Sandra sent out 20 resumes to different companies.
But it wants you to place
you
the
just got
modifier.
rid of almost. You can't. That's cheating. You can't do that. You got to do something with almost. You just can't have us almost send out the resumes.
I don't understand what the problem with the original sentence is, though.
Well,
there's no problem. It's just asking you to place it somewhere else.
Just change the sentence then.
Yeah, it's saying that that's not
Okay.
what the person meant to say. They meant to say something else. That's right. Okay, so you see how that changes the meaning? Yeah, that's the point. Okay. All right, so any of you guys, why don't I give you guys another minute or two? Everybody pick out one that they find interesting or that they find where they catch a mistake. And I'll just pick somebody at random to point it out. These are pretty simple. Yeah, these are pretty simple. These can get, I mean, and maybe we'd have to get into the Bender book to find it, but these can get really complicated and difficult. Can anyone imagine that? The misplaced modifiers getting complicated and difficult? Yeah. One of the,
oh,
go ahead.
Sorry. I had a question about practice 4.1, the first one under practice 4. Isn't that the same? They're not like what I did.
Wait.
It's saying the same thing.
Let's read it out loud.
As I was walking across the tile floor. All right, I'll highlight it. This one.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, what's wrong with that? That's slightly different than what you had, Ashley.
Oh, sorry. Never mind. Sorry. I thought the top one was the original.
Okay.
Well, but the only difference is they added as I was walking, right?
Well, I mean, if you do walking across the tile floor, the coffee cup.
Oh, never mind.
Like the coffee cup's walking around.
That.
Yeah. Interesting, but probably not. Connell loves that. She loves this stuff. Right. Anyway, okay, so what was I going to say? This one is kind of interesting about the 15%. Where did that 15% go? So, Jeremy almost saved 15% is different than Jeremy saved almost 15%.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah, so that's an interesting example, right? You almost saved it versus almost 15%. It's kind of similar to the example.
It's a real clear example.
Yeah. All right. Does anyone else have any that they found interesting or whatever? Does anyone not get it yet? Is anyone still stuck on this? So should I pull one up from the final exam? Okay, so you can see one where it's actually difficult. Because some of these are difficult, right? Everyone find those easy, so you think you have it all easy? Well, what about this one? Let's see. Where is my...
So grammar is going to be on the final exam?
Not the final exam, the exam. I'm calling it an exam this week. It's your homework.
Okay, cool.
It's just because Joanna, when we actually, back in the days before we weren't all stricken by a disease, and we actually used to go to class together, I used to just hand this thing out on paper and we would use a class period to do it. And then we would go over it, right? But we don't do that anymore. So now my exam is no longer an exam. Now it's homework. So first question is going to be, why don't we just do this? Well, no, I'm going to be quick about it.
How do we turn in the exam, by the way?
Into the, here.
Is there a Dropbox on your page?
Right here. So under assignments for week 3, there's this right here. You go in here and you drop a Google Doc link to your assignment.
Okay.
Where you make sure you adjust the settings in your assignment so you can share it with me so I can mark it up. Because if you don't allow me to edit, I won't be able to mark it up. Does everybody understand that? So create it in Google Doc, make sure you change the settings so I can edit it, and then drop it into here. All right, so grammar exam. Okay, how about that one?
Bianca hid the presents that she bought for her children. Oh, Bianca hid.
Don't give anything away there. Did you figure it out, Titus?
Yeah, I did that one already.
Oh, okay.
The punctuation and the parallel, I thought were tricky.
All right. Did anyone get stuck on this one? You got stuck on it, Carly?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay. So what, this is easy for everybody? Is this easy for everybody? Did anyone get stuck? Johanna, do you know the answer?
I think I was going the same way as Titus, but I don't know if he wants to say it. But I'm also worried I got it wrong.
Okay. Katana, what is oh my God about?
The comment above.
Yeah, the chat.
I wonder if her children will come out of the closet. Okay. Yeah. So what's the best? What do you guys think is the best? Just say it, because otherwise we'd be giving away the answer. What's the best answer?
Just say the answer or don't say the answer?
Yeah, go ahead and say the answer.
Bianca hid in the closet the present she bought for her children.
Wouldn't that imply Bianca's hiding in the closet or no? Bianca hid in the closet.
Okay, hid the presents in the closet. She bought
Hid the presents in the closet.
Yeah, that sounds better. You're right.
Sorry, I don't mean to nitpick. I was confused.
I think.
No, I'm glad you did. Now I can get it right on the quiz.
Yeah, I think you got Titus's number on that one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bianca hid in the closet. No, that's not going to work. So what's the answer? So Ashley, hot potato is your answer.
Bianca. Wait, what did I just say? Whatever I just said, I can't remember what I just said.
Bianca hid the presents in the closet.
Yeah, hid the presents in the closet for her children.
We all just talked.
Yeah, but now she didn't buy them.
Bianca hid the presents that she bought for her children. Oh wait, no.
Oh shoot, you're right. She didn't buy
Bianca
hid the presents that she bought for her children.
Wait, could I try?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Bianca brought presents and hid them in the closet for her children.
Ooh, how elegant. I think he might have nailed it right there. Okay, moving on. I'm bored as hell with misplaced modifiers. Who's with me on that? I think we're ready to move on to parallel structure for a little while, and then we'll be almost done. We'll be almost out of the grammar woods.
If you ever get bored, just keep an eye on the chat. It keeps it exciting.
Is it okay? Wait, this class sucks. When is this teacher going to stop talking about grammar? No, okay, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's see.
Let's do number 9 and 15.
Number 9? What about number 9? Hold on.
Number 9 is parallel structure.
Yeah. On what? Where?
On the grammar exam.
Oh, yeah, it is. But we're not going to use too many. Okay, well, that's a good one, though. Let's leave that up for a minute. That'll be, somebody gets a brownie if they can figure that one out.
I separated it to 2 sentences. Is that
no, you can't do that, Titus. Back to the drawing board.
That's a long sentence, man.
Not too bad. You gotta turn it into, you gotta fix it. Okay, so what is misplaced modifiers? Oh, look, I don't have to draw it on the board because they're making the case right here. You see what they're showing right here? I always used to draw this on the board and I thought I came up with it, but at some point I must have stolen it from the little textbook. You see how it's like A, B, C, and then what would come next? If you had A, B, C, what would be next? You guys following me here? See this? A, B, C, what's next?
D.
D. D. Right on. I knew we were a smart group. So, okay. What about this? You got 1 arrow, 2 arrows up, 1 arrows, 2 arrows up. What's this going to be?
A down arrow.
Yes. Okay. 20, 40, 60.
80.
Yes. Okay. What's this one? Hold on. What is this?
What in the world?
What is that? Okay. What are you guys guessing this next thing is going to be?
The filled out box.
I'm thinking a box with a circle in it. Right?
Oh yeah. All the answers are C.
All the answers are C. Oh yeah, I was wondering, I was like, what's the series there? I don't know, I'm lost. These are the answers over here. Okay. All right, so here's the question. What's that all about? What does that mean in terms of grammar? What's their point?
that they're parallel.
Yeah, they fit together. Actually, this isn't the way I would address it. The way I would address it is I might have 3 of these in a row and then a triangle, or 3 of these in a row and then a circle. Because that, to me, it seems more like the idea of parallel structure, that they're all alike in a certain way. You guys see what I'm saying? So let's try practice 1. Okay, so Charlie 1. You follow me here?
Actually, no, I'm not exactly sure where this doc.
Okay, so go to week 1 and you'll find it in as one of the PDFs there, parallel structure.
Got it.
Okay, so Tyler, you know where to find it? Tyler's been quiet with all these talky people in the class. He hasn't been chiming.
Looking for it.
What?
I said I'm looking for it right now. I mean, I see it shared on your screen, right?
Yeah, Tyler, why aren't you full of all these wise ass comments throwing in every once in a while?
This is my 4th class of the day. I'm usually pretty tired by this one.
Okay, so you got all your wise comments earlier in the day, right? Maybe
Right.
you're like the chat demon. Are you in there in the chat? You're chatting it up over in chat? No? Okay. So you do number 2. Justin, can you tackle number 3? Carly, can you take on number 4? Ashi, can you wrestle down or wrestle number 5? See where I'm at? And this is so much easier to do with a whiteboard. Titus left us. Johanna, can you do number 1 of the practice 2? Katana. Oh, look, you'll like this one. It's about a squirrel. Can you do number 2? Cody 3. Cameron 4. Ethan 5. And then we're on to the review exercises. So Kenzie 1. Oh, I like this one. Davin 2. Who's left? Ashley 3. And Mason, are you there? I don't think Mason's there. Okay, well, never mind. We'll just do that. Okay. So let me, should I give these, is it too late? Are you guys already racing ahead with your answers? This is us, right? So, whoa, it's not letting me. Practice 1. What else? Practice 2. Okay, review exercise. Thank you. And what else do we have here? Is that everything? Looks like it. Charlie, where are you at? Hey, Charlie, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so you see where to put yours to start with?
Yeah, sorry, I'm having a hard time, like, I don't know why it's indenting, but yeah.
Okay.
I put my name there, I got it rolling.
Wait, where is it? Where is it? I don't see it.
It's right under where you wrote practice 1.
Right here?
Review exercise 1. Yeah. See, it says my name right there, Charlie. I wrote my name.
Oh, you're under review though. Put it under practice.
Oh, okay. Got it. Sorry.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna go get a drink of water, and when I come back, hopefully everybody will be done, and we'll take a look. Okay. So here's what we'll do. Once everybody's gotten theirs up, start looking at the other ones to see if you see any errors or anything interesting to talk about. And if not, if everybody is perfect, then we will go to do the difficult one on the exam. Who did number 5? Who's this? Carly? Did you do number 5?
I did number 4.
Okay. Who did number Ashi, you did number 5?
Yeah.
See if you can now clean it up, like make it into a sentence with all 3 of those.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, you have a run on there, Ashi.
Should I get rid of the room was awful part?
Well, is that in the sentence?
No.
No, okay. So yeah, you just say the room had no, but you know, if you did want to include that, you would just have a period right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I see that now.
You know what that's called when you have a comma right there?
Comma splice.
Yeah, exactly. And this goes to what we've been learning about run-ons, right? This is a whole independent clause, and so is this.
Mm-hmm.
Professor, is practice 2-1 correct?
When it's time to study, Carl always remembers that he has laundry to do, groceries to buy, and a car to wash. Yeah, it is. It's okay. We're almost out of time, guys.
Okay, that one's not.
Shouldn't there be a
possible,
comma
but-
after by for 5-1? Or
Not in AP style. So one of the big rules about newspaper writing, Kenzie, is that there is no comma before the and in a list. Now, the exception to that is if it's a really long phrase. And sometimes you may even use semicolons to separate items in a list. But the basic rule in Associated Press writing style, which is newspaper writing style, is no comma before the and. Okay. So that you're looking stunned or something. I don't know. I can't tell. I can't read your expression.
are you talking to me still? I'm sorry, my internet totally cut out when you were talking. Like I did not hear anything that you.
Oh, I said something really important.
I believe you, and I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to have to repeat it, but my Wi-Fi sucks.
Okay. What I said was that in Associated Press writing style, are you hearing me now? Which is the newspaper writing style, you don't put a comma before the and. Unless it's the one exception is if it's a really long phrase. And then in fact, if they are really long phrases, you might separate them by semicolons.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good. But like when making like a list, right? You just don't put it before the and. You don't do that like ever. Is it like a no-no?
Unless it's a really, really long phrase.
Okay, sounds.
Yeah, that's AP style. Okay, that's one of the main things about and then they have this word like it's an Oxford comma to put it before the and. All right, so you guys, I'm sorry that we are out of time. Did anyone get stuck on theirs? We're wrapping up for the day. We didn't get. It turns out we ran out of time for our reading discussion, but did anyone get stuck on theirs? Get stumped? Were they frustrated? Find something interesting? Is anyone confused about anything about parallel structure?
Yeah, on the exam, the number 9, it reminded me of the 2-1, and I couldn't figure out how to do it without writing the city, but none of the other ones would have the in front of it.
Yeah, you do want to keep that consistent as much as possible. If you have an article, then you just introduce the article at the beginning, like the or a or an, and otherwise you want to avoid that. But I don't know. We'd have to look at it. But Titus, we can do the one from the exam on Tuesday if you want, because that's a special one. That's a good example of how this can get difficult in the real world. These exercises may make it seem simple, but it's not always so simple to get stuff parallel, right? And the one I give you guys a question on the exam about the mayor and the city, which is a good example of how in real world writing things can get complicated. But does everybody understand the basics of parallel structure? And you guys remember what I was saying before about how I've kind of picked our battles with grammar to just the major structural things. You guys have again, this is a structural issue about how sentences are put together. Does that make sense? You guys follow me there? Okay. All right. So any final questions? Otherwise, maybe let's wrap it up for the day, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Sound good?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Professor.
weekend.
Proper English
Tuesday.
weekend.